Hey everyone, it's Sam, your average Joe lawn nut. So it's been a while since I did my overseeding project. It's been actually 16 days. So today I thought I might give you an update on how it looks at the moment. So I have some areas that it hasn't exactly gone the way I wanted it to. So let's have a look at those areas and I'll show you how I usually fix them. That's part of every overseeding project. You're not going to get perfect results everywhere. Some spots are going to be bare and you have to reseed them again. So let's have a look at that today and let's talk about what we can do about it. So first I'm going to show you how it looks after 8 days, and then we're going to look how it looks today after 16 days. But before we do anything, I need to mow this since I haven't mowed it in 16 days. So some areas are getting quite long, so I need to mow it so we can actually look at it and see how it looks. Alright, so this is 8 days after overseeding, and this is one of the areas where I had a low spot, so I had to fill it up with a lot of top dress and try to level it out. And as you can see, I have pretty good germination after 8 days. The seed I used was 65% creeping red fescue and 35% Kentucky bluegrass. I'm pretty sure this is the creeping red fescue germinating first, since Kentucky bluegrass usually takes longer. It can actually be mind-numbingly slow to get going, but once it does look really good, but it's starting to come along. And then I have spots like these where it just hasn't germinated and it will probably need some more seeds. I mean, they will fill in over time since Kentucky bluegrass will spread. But remember, Mother Nature doesn't like to be bare, so chances are some weeds will take over before any grass gets to it. So these spots I will be adding some more seeds. But overall it's looking pretty good. It's all coming along nicely after just 8 days. I mean, remember how it looked just 8 days ago? It looked terrible. So with that in mind, it's looking a lot better. I'm pretty happy with it so far, so I just have to be patient. Alright, so I will be using my Gardena 400C to mow this because it doesn't weigh a lot. I actually did a review of this thing a while back, so if you want to check that out, I'll put a link to it. I would highly advise you to borrow one of these or get one of these just for this purpose, because you don't want to put your ordinary rotary mower on this because it just weighs too much, and the new grass won't like that if you just put a lot of weight on top of it. So this is perfect for mowing after doing overseeding or renovation. So this is what I'll be using today, and today I'm not going to be breaking the 1/3 rule. I'm not going to mow it to the height I want it today because that would mean break the 1/3 rule, and I don't want to do that. So I'll mow it in different steps. Today I'll just put it on one of the higher settings just to cut the top off, and then I'll wait a while, a couple of days, and I'll mow it one step lower, and I'll keep doing that until I reach the height I actually want. And for those of you who don't know what the 1/3 rule is, that you don't want to cut more than 1/3 of the grass length. I mean, I did break the 1/3 rule last time, but that's doing overseeding. That's the only time it's actually okay to do that, because that will stunt the grass and kind of prevent it to grow as much. And you kind of want that. You don't want it growing vigorously when you're doing overseeding. So that's the only time it's actually okay to do that. But today, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to keep the 1/3 rule and do it step by step. So it's really getting long now. And it's getting to a point where it's actually blocking the sun for the new seeds to grow. All right, so let's get going with the mowing first. Alright, so that's the mowing, and it's starting to look good, starting to take. Some areas are just a bit behind, but they're starting to take as well. Alright, so make sure you stick until the end of the video, because I'm going to show you what I do with the areas which hasn't started growing and how you can get a head start and get it going a bit faster. So make sure you stick until the end and I'll show you how I do that. Alright, so I'm done with the mowing, and this is how it's looking after 16 days. As you can see, I still have some areas that are bare. I just might have put too much soil in these areas, or it could have been washed away by the rainfall we had just the days after seeding. This is the part where I had really big issues. I mean, it's getting there. I mean, these parts have started to fill in here, all over here. And again, it's Kentucky bluegrass. It just might start to germinate in a couple of weeks. It's just so slow. What the hell is this?
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Don't worry too much about it. Every lawn has weeds. There's no lawns that have no weeds whatsoever. And especially in Sweden, where we are not allowed to use herbicides at all. Nothing is legal for homeowners. Don't worry about it too much. Don't stress over it. Overall, it looks pretty darn good anyways. I mean, surely I have a screw loose when this puts such a big smile on my face. I mean, I love a good mow. But I mean, that's why they call it lawn nut. It is nuts. I'm fully aware of it, but I still like it. And I love that you can get some stripes from just a Gardena manual reel mower or cylinder mower. That thing would be perfect if they just made the handle adjustable. It does hurt my back to go back and forth a bit, but I mean, it's worth it. Look at this. And you remember the areas which I did not put top dress on was this area. I put top dress on the sides pretty much. The only difference I can see is that the sides are a bit darker green, and that's because the top dress had fertilizer in it. So that's the only difference I can see. I seeded everything. I just didn't put top dress on this part, and it looks just as good as the sides, just not as dark green. That's the only difference. I mean, seriously, wouldn't this put a smile on your face? Is it just me? This would put a smile on your face too. I know it would. This is great. So I said I'll show you a quicker way of actually getting those patches reseeded where it just hasn't taken as well. I mean, that's always the case with overseeding. You're always gonna have some patches where it just doesn't take as well. I'm gonna show you what I do, getting those patches to grow more quickly with less work. That's actually to just use a normal wheelbarrow. You put your soil into the wheelbarrow. I mean, just roughly take a guess how much you're gonna need. Just be sure to rather take too much than not enough. I'm usually on the not enough side. Today I'm just gonna use a little bit extra because I know I usually run out. So just put your soil into the wheelbarrow. I hope that's enough. Probably you'll see me in a couple of days standing here telling you that it wasn't enough, but hopefully it was enough. Then you take the seed you want to use and then just start pouring. Again, as per usual, I'm not calculating anything. I'm just adding roughly what I think I need. I'm willing to guess that you at home, you also use way more than it actually says you'll need, but I think that's what us average Joe lawn nuts do. We take a guess. Then you just mix that up. And the final step, just make sure it's moist. And that's it. That's a good way of giving your seeds a head start and actually germinate them in a more controlled environment. I mean, imagine spreading all this around. Then you'll just have to go around all around the areas where you want to fix some patches. And you have to water that in, you have to water that in. So it's easier to just do it in a wheelbarrow, just to give the seeds a good head start. And if it rains a lot, then you can put it under a roof. So a more controlled environment, but you have to keep watching this over the next few days or a week, just to make sure as soon as it starts germinating, then you need to put it out. Don't wait for the grass seeds to kind of grow this long or something like that. It's just to give the seed a good head start. Just when you see it starting to germinate, that's when you put it out. So for now we have good weather. I'm just gonna put the wheelbarrow in the corner, and then I'm gonna keep watching it over the next few days just to see when it starts cracking open, the seed. And as soon as it starts cracking, then I'm just gonna put it out on the patches I had after the overseeding. Just put that over here. And just make sure you keep it moist, don't let it dry out. But again, it's easier to just come here and just keeping this wheelbarrow moist than having to run around all the entire yard and keeping everything moist. So this is 3 weeks after overseeding and it looks really good. I still have some of these patches I need to fix, and that's what the seed in the wheelbarrow is for. This is the problem area I had with POA and a lot of weeds, and it's starting to look really good. After you mow it a couple of times, it starts growing thicker and it starts growing in. Then you have some patches like this. This is just gonna take forever to grow in. More likely you're gonna have some weeds taking over this area. So again, that's why I want to give the seeds in the wheelbarrow a good head start, so I can just fix these patches up a bit more quickly. And you see, these patches, Creeping Charlie, I think it is Creeping Charlie, not Clover. But overall, it's looking really good. So this is, again, 3 weeks after overseeding. And again, it looked terrible 3 weeks ago, but now it's starting to fill in. Color's great, looking really good. And this is the other problem area I had, where it was just so low and I had to fill it up with a lot of soil. It's starting to come along pretty good as well. I need to fix some of these areas. I don't think these are gonna fill in quickly enough. I'm just gonna patch these up as well. But other than that, it's starting to look really good. All right, so that's the result of my overseeding project. I showed you how it looked after 8 days, after 16 days, and now after 3 weeks. So it's starting to look really good. I still have some patches I need to fix, but again, just do the wheelbarrow trick and you'll get going a bit faster. All right, so that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it and found some value in it. If you did, please consider subscribing so you don't miss out on any future videos, and I'll see you in the next one.